Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The title of our presentation is Citing Others' Works in Academic Texts: How Non-Native Authors of English across disciplines use reporting verbs and reporting signals in their research article introduction. I am Safnil Arshad from English Education Postgraduate Program of FKIP of University. Why citing others' works? Citing others' works is one of the most important features of academic texts, such as essay, thesis, dissertation, seminar papers, and articles. It is also impossible to write an academic text without reviewing or citing others' works. In the introduction section of a research article, for example, authors cite the works of others, especially in the literature review part of the section, to argue convincingly that their research topic is important and interesting, and their research project is important based on a critical analysis results of previous relevant studies. So therefore, in this section, authors need to highlight gaps in previous studies on the same or similar topics and reflect on other works done in a particular area of study. So why reporting verbs in citation? The use of reporting verbs in academic writing can be for several purposes. First, to present what research has and has not been done on a particular topic in a particular field. Second, to show the author's familiarity with the field being or to be investigated. Third, to convince or persuade readers that their research topic or research project is important and interesting. And finally, to position their work in a larger research context. Using this function, authors can justify their works by showing the gap of knowledge found in the literature, and therefore the ways to report and evaluate previous relevant studies appropriately and effectively becomes fundamental skills of academic writing. So however, according to Yeganeh and Bogayeri 2015, non-native speakers of English often fail to use reporting verbs appropriately in their writing. They most often misuse or use them interchangeably. The same problem may be experienced by Indonesian authors when writing in English. Although they have been professional authors and successfully published articles in internationally indexed journals. In other words, Indonesian authors may use reporting verbs differently from international authors do, and this will affect the quality of their English work. So the rationale for this study, although there have been studies on how Indonesian authors cite relevant references in their academic texts, but to the knowledge of the present authors, no comparative study has been conducted, particularly on how Indonesian authors in multidisciplines use reporting verbs in their English research article introduction. And this is the rationale of this study, that is to investigate how Indonesian authors in multidisciplines use reporting verbs in their English research article introductions published in international reputable journals. So the research questions addressed for this study are: number one, what groups of reporting verbs are most frequently used in English research article introduction written by Indonesian authors in multidiscipline? Number two, What reporting signals are most frequently used by Indonesian authors in their English research article introduction in multidiscipline? And number 3, what tenses of reporting verbs are most frequently used by the Indonesian authors in their English research article introduction multidiscipline? The corpus of this study consists of 50 research articles, introduction, taken from 5 different journals. 10 articles were taken from Indonesian journals of applied linguistics, and 10 articles were taken from Acta Medica Indonesiana. This is a journal in medicine. And 10 articles were taken from Indonesian Journal of Geography. 10 articles were taken from Tropical Animal Science journals, and 10 articles were taken from Journal of Engineering and Technological Science. So these journals were all indexed by Scopus, which means that these journals are international accredited, international reputable journals. And when we look at the average number of words of the introduction section of the articles varies from one journal to the other. For example, in Indonesian Journal of Applied Linguistics, the average number of words in the introduction is 1,572, while in Tropical Animal Science journals, the average number of words in the introduction section is only 568. And yeah, so it seems that the articles in applied linguistics is the longest. The introduction section is the longest, 1,500, while the rest are quite short. Yeah, 315, 726, 568, and 609. So the Ijal is the longest. And we analyze in the introduction section, especially how the authors use reporting verbs. And following the previous authors, we divide the reporting verbs into 5 groups: argue groups, think groups, show groups, find groups, and add. And also the reporting signals. Yeah, we analyze reporting signals, reporting nouns, reporting adjective, and reporting adverbs, and also the tenses. Yeah, present tense, past tense, and present perfect tense. To validate the data analysis result, an independent rater involved in the study was a lecturer with a doctoral degree in English education at the English Education Postgraduate Program of Educational Faculty of Bengkulu University. First, the independent rater was introduced and trained on how to identify the possible reporting verbs in the text and the tenses of the reporting verbs with examples, and of course also the reporting signals. Then she was given 2 weeks to do the processes of reporting verbs and reporting signals identification of all 10 randomly selected research article introduction from the corpus of the study. So not on all research articles, only 10 out of 50, which is 20%. And third, inter-rater correlation agreement was then calculated, and the results show an 80% agreement, or an excellent inter-rater agreement. And finally, the difference only in classifying the reporting verbs in the research article introduction, while almost no difference occurred in coding the tenses and the reporting signal. in the research article introduction. After a few discussions between the researcher and the curators, a full agreement was finally achieved. And this is the result. So as we can see here, the majority reporting verbs group found in the 50 research article introduction is in the argue groups, which is 85 frequency. And the second frequent one is in the show group, while the think group is very small, only 6, while find and add groups are almost equal, 30 and 36 respectively. And the use of reporting signals, also reporting noun is the dominant one in all 50 research article introduction, which is 96, and the second one is reporting adjunct, and the least frequent one is reporting adjective. While the tenses of reporting verbs, the most dominant one is present tense, the second most dominant one is past tense, and the least dominant one is present perfect tense. Okay, the discussion section of these articles. The first result is that the most frequent used group of RV are argue and show groups. This is probably because the verb group of show is, as well as argue, is used to express validity, effect, and sort of confirmation to what has been found, and to emphasize and demonstrate a research finding. So this is according to Thomas and Harris in 1994, and therefore these two groups are most frequently used in the research article introduction. That is to validity, to show the validity or to validify the claim or the finding of previous studies. This finding resembles that of Yeganeh and Bogayeri 2014, who also found that Iranian authors use argue groups of reporting verbs more frequently in social science than natural science, while the show groups of RV or reporting verbs was more frequently used in natural sciences than in social sciences. According to Jafari Gohar and Mohammad Khani 2015, the diversity of linguistic competence between native and non-native authors of English did not affect the use of citation in their academic writing. This implies that research articles used in their study, although written by Indonesian authors or non-native speakers of English, are already similar to those written by English native speakers or international authors in terms of the use of reporting verbs. So this is probably because the journals from which the articles for this study were taken for the corpus of the study are already reputable international journals and indexed by international journal indexing organizations such as Scopus and Web of Science. The second finding in this study is the most frequent reporting signal used in this study is the reporting nouns, not reporting adjective or reporting or other types of reporting signals. According to Nanyue 2013, reporting noun is different from a reporting verb, in which it does not use a verb to refer to or cited reference, but a noun phrase such as previous studies and scholars in the field. This finding may imply that Indonesian authors are more familiar with reporting nouns in academic texts such as journal articles than reporting adjectives and reporting adjuncts. So Nanyue claims that reporting adjectives such as so-called, concerned, and reporting adjuncts such as according to, in the words of, are more often found in spoken language than in written ones. So thus, the Indonesian authors may have met samples of reporting nouns in the references they read more often than reporting adjectives and reporting. The final result in this study is that the most frequent tenses of reporting verbs found in the research article introduction are present tense and past tense. So this is probably because of a convention in academic writing that the authors cite research results of previous studies. They use a past from of research verbs, reporting verbs. When they cite author's opinion or idea, they use a present form of reporting verbs, and the present perfect tense are used when referring to an area of inquiry. So this is according to Fick and Swales 2009, where authors, when authors cite research finding, they use past tense. But when they cite author's opinion or opinion of general knowledge, they use present tense. But when they refer to an area of inquiry or to a group of authors who have written on a particular topic or who have investigated a particular topic, they use present perfect tense. According to Swales and Fick 2012, the change from past tense to present perfect tense and then to present tense show that the cited information is closer to the author's research in various forms, such as closer to the author's opinion, closer to the topic or the author's research finding, or closer to the author or knowledge, to the theory or knowledge that is generally accepted. So this implies that the Indonesian authors in the corpus of this study prefer citing research results and general information or knowledge rather than referring to an area of inquiry in their research introduction. So the conclusion from this study is that from the result and the discussion, it can be concluded, number one, the most frequently used groups of RV are argue and show groups, while the most frequent reporting signals used is reporting nouns, while finally the most frequent tenses of reporting verbs found in the study are present tense and past tense. So these findings are similar to those of previous relevant studies, and this implies that Indonesian authors in multidiscipline have complied with the international standards of using reporting verbs and reporting signals when writing in English and published in reputable international journals. So in other words, Indonesian authors in multidisciplines who have successfully published articles in reputable journals in Indonesia have no or minimum problems in using reporting verbs and reporting signals when writing in English. The suggestion put forward in the study that the majority of Indonesian authors in multidisciplines who have published a reputable in reputable or indexed international journals in English do not have problems in using reporting verbs and reporting signals. But it may not be the case for Indonesian young faculty members and postgraduate students. So therefore, it is important to introduce them to how to use reporting verbs and reporting signals appropriately when writing journal articles, especially those to be submitted to a reputable journal in English. So this is because the choice of reporting verbs and reporting signals in a journal article will affect the quality of the article and therefore will determine whether or not the articles can be accepted to be published in a particular journal. So the introduction can be through explicit teaching on how to use reporting verbs and reporting signals in research articles, or via indirect teaching while the students or the young faculty members read published research articles in English. The acknowledgements, this research was financially supported by the English Education Postgraduate Program of Education Faculty of the University of Bengkulu in 2020. So therefore, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to them. Thank you very much.